Welcome, everybody. This is Andrea Holm podcast episode number 2. It's been a long while since our last episode, but I'm ready and gung ho to go back into the second one. I'm back here with Jesus Sierra,
Welcome, everybody.
and today we are going to talk about FOMO and JOMO. FOMO, people might be familiar with already. JOMO is a little bit less common. I actually just heard the acronym for the first time the other day, and I really liked it, which is why this is our topic today. FOMO in English, it's an acronym that stands for fear of missing out, and it refers to a fear of missing out of experiences or worrying that you've missed opportunities. Would you describe it that way?
Yeah, sounds great to me. It's like this anxiety that people feel of wanting to be somewhere else instead of their present, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to
It's kind
describe
of,
it.
yeah.
So, my first question, taking into context that I'm American or from the United States, and from my experience, this is a very American concept. Is this a word in Spanish? Is this something people know about in the Spanish language? Jesus is from Spain.
Spain. I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. Actually, there's a term that I first heard about in English. Uh, Apparently, people now use the English word in Spanish. They say like FOMO with FOMO with Spanish accent. So apparently we took the term from you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, and like prior to that, I had never like heard any sort of expression or word to convey that idea of FOMO. Never.
Which kind of leads into where does this word come from? Like, do you know where FOMO first came into being? We were kind of talking about this
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah, we're talking about it. Like honestly, before like when you told me about like recording a podcast about this, like I tried to um, kind of go back in time and see. So when did I first hear this word? Or and first time I heard this was in the startup um, world or community. Like people would using the FOMO acronym to describe this fear of missing the bigness business opportunity, like in places like Silicon Valley, in San Francisco, where all these startups are being um, launched or started daily. So investors will use the FOMO idea to describe like, oh, I'm gonna miss the next Instagram. I'm going to miss the next Google. You know?
In terms of investing money in an idea.
Yeah, in a company. I'm sorry. Yes,
Okay.
in terms of yeah, if you're an investor and you're trying to find like teams of people who are like launching internet ideas, like the, all these kids in San Francisco launching like apps or whatever it is, right? So the first time I heard that term FOMO was in that context.
You know what that reminds me of is the Spanish version of buying lottery.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard that because I always think this like obsession with lottery is so strange here. Lottery tickets, right? There
Yeah,
you But people have explained it to me since I've been here that it's like based on this FOMO concept. If because in the US we buy lottery tickets like you choose 6 numbers, and if those 6 numbers land all together, you win the lottery, something like that. But here in Spain, it's based on locations, like a local bar or the place you buy your groceries
yeah.
or even the company that you
Workout. Yeah,
work at. Yeah,
yeah.
so they each location has its own set of numbers, so the whole neighborhood wants to invest in that lottery ticket.
Exactly, exactly. So this is the Christmas lottery
Yeah.
draft or whatever they say. So it's like the 22nd or 3rd of December. So there's only like 100,000 numbers, actually. It's,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, it's 100,000 numbers, but with different series, different sets, or whatever they say. So for every number, there's a lot of tickets.
But they're all related to locations, or locations
Kind
share
of,
numbers.
but let's say you're like a big company, right? With like 20,000 workers. So you go and you buy the whole number for your company.
It's like buying shares.
It's like buying shirts, but that numbers has like I don't know how many tickets. So if like it's Andrea Home Corporation, and you buy like let's say 20,000 euros of one number, so everybody that knows you or interacts with you in a way uh, gets a ticket, gets a piece of that number.
Wants to buy a piece of
Exactly,
it. So they it breaks down into 20
20
euro
euro.
pieces,
Exactly.
but I can choose how many I want to sell or
Exactly. But let's say that's your number, right? The 20,323. And I'm like, I meet with you to have a coffee and hey Andrea, how's it going? Blah blah blah. And you tell me, yeah, I bought this number.
I own the whole number.
I own the number. Like if I don't get a 20 euro uh, ticket from you, I'm gonna feel FOMO. What
If I win,
if you
yes.
win? Sorry, yeah, if you
Yeah,
win.
it's the same. And when people are traveling, let's say I go to Paris or no, to Madrid for
But
the weekend,
yeah,
and I go to some bar, and later I see on TV that that bar I went and visited in Madrid won, I have total FOMO. So, like when I go on vacation, I have to purposely buy tickets from those places I frequent.
exactly.
Yeah, it's the same as the
It's the
investment.
same idea. Exactly. Exactly. Would that be the winning ticket? Would that be?
And will that be the future Instagram?
Exactly. Or the future Google or whatever. So that's the first time I really heard that term like regularly.
Hmm.
But then I realized that people actually use it in social media. That's what, and it's the most frequent use of that word, right? FOMO.
But what do you mean that it's used in social media? Meaning like people hashtag FOMO
No,
or
sorry, sorry.
no, that's the question. Like what do you mean by that?
Yeah, actually, it's not used in social media. It's a term that is used about social media.
Applied to social
Applied to,
media.
yeah, is the emotional reaction that people feel about themselves when spending a lot of time watching other people on social media.
Yeah, because nowadays people post their vacations or so it makes you feel like you're missing out on life experiences because you see other people. Well, it's kind of exaggerated. The vision you see on social media is an exaggerated vision of what the world is like, even though it's not necessarily reality.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, we all edit our lives on social media, like consciously or unconsciously, like we post the best part of us and we kind of edit what we show. Even if we say we don't, we do. Like we all do, you know?
And
Like
you delete those photos in which,
or unconsciously like even the simple fact of posting when you're happy, only that because if you're sad, it's not only that I don't want to post this. It's just that you don't even think about posting. Like you post because you want to well, some people do.
yeah,
Yeah?
I think people also post when they're sad because they need that feedback or that attention.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But the type of posts that would generate FOMO are not those ones.
Yeah.
The posts that generate FOMO are those in which you see like beautiful scenarios, happy people, successful environments, like all the rich life, all the sexy girls, sexy dudes, cars, all those things, beaches,
The mansions,
the man,
the
exactly,
exotic vacations, the
the Lamborghinis, all that thing, all those things.
we say Lamborghini.
Lamborghini
Yeah.
is I say Lambos. I never went that far.
Well, maybe that's going farther.
So you say Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the way we're supposed to say it, but that's the way
Yeah.
Americans pronounce it.
I mean, that was a joke, but I think I more often hear the word Lambo than Lamborghini.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I wonder in English?
in English.
Huh.
Yeah, that's
I
how they.
didn't even I don't think I've ever heard that, but
Yeah, it's a Lambo.
you probably listen to more podcasts than I do.
I'm more on social. I'm more on Instagram than you are
Yes,
probably.
that's true. I'm a newbie. Okay, so now basically we're taking into context that this FOMO concept plays a larger role in terms of social media. And I just realized I haven't even introduced what JOMO is yet. So, JOMO is essentially the contrasting idea to FOMO, in that rather than fear of missing out, it's joy of missing out. So, it's like a response, a way to face this with a positive angle
Yeah,
by saying like I've chosen to miss out.
yeah,
I'm I find joy in the fact that my decision was to miss out on this.
yeah.
Had you heard that concept before I brought
No,
it up to
not
you?
before you gave it to me, but I love it. It's
Uh-huh.
it's necessary. It's like the counter culture reaction to FOMO, right?
Hmm.
But I've been thinking, like, ever since you told me about recording a podcast about this, I've been like thinking about it, and it's funny how it makes sense. It makes sense that we feel FOMO because reality has changed with social media. Like, I was thinking, like, only 20, 30 years ago, like, you wouldn't have access to other people's lives to the degree that you do today, that we do today, you know? Like, not so long ago, like, some kid in a village in Spain wouldn't know how the life of a millionaire was. Yeah, like you would see like pictures in magazines or maybe like a short clip on TV or something, but you wouldn't have that direct window into their lives. And now on Instagram, like any poor kid anywhere in the world, or not even poor, like just average kid or average adult, can see like the everyday life of all these successful people, you know? So suddenly your reality changes. Like your brain thinks that that's life. And right?
Yeah, I would think that not only because maybe in the past you had some access, like this kid in Spain, to like the queen or,
Yeah.
but it's so few people and you kind of can accept that the queen or the princess or whoever has this fancy life. So if you see like bits and pieces of it, you allow that. But nowadays, it's like somebody your own age, somebody who you
Yeah.
can identify more with. So yeah, so I would say that the feeling increases. It's a stronger jealousy in a way.
Yeah, and more, it's true that yeah, it's true. I never thought of that. It's true. It's more visceral because if you're like a 20-year-old kid from some place in Spain where you're not doing that well, you're unemployed, you dropped from high school, and you see all these 20-year-old kids in San Francisco driving Lambos in in Santa Monica, it's like shit. Like I'm missing out. I'm missing out. Like that could be me. So
Yeah.
this it creates this anxiety of like wanting to be elsewhere, or this feeling that you're doing wrong, or you're doing wrongly in life, or you're underachieving, or
Yeah, because you kind of take this FOMO to that extent, this like social media concept and stuff like that. But I also think of FOMO as just like within your realm, also the decisions you make. Like if my friends want to take a trip and I choose to not go on that particular trip, or they want to go out drinking one night and I'm tired and I feel like staying home. But I know that come 8 o'clock on Friday, I'm going to be thinking, they could be having so much fun. Maybe I should have gone. And now, rather than enjoying my evening at home like I had really wanted to, I'm regretting my decision. I'm like not enjoying the choice I made.
Mm.
Is this the same thing? Like this feeling of wanting what you can't have because you don't have the means, or wanting what you can't have because you chose differently?
I think it's human nature, some degree, so feeling a certain degree of FOMO is just human nature, is what has made us thrive. The desire to go to the other side of the mountain is the fear of missing out, right?
Hmm.
So it's just human. That's why we have been so successful as a species. This thriving instinct of feeling that we're missing something. The problem is the degree at which that it's present in our lives. So, and take into an everyday, like into an everyday context, it's good, I think, to feel some FOMO because it makes you wake you up. It makes you wanting to achieve things and to do things.
It motivates you.
It's motivating.
It gives you drive.
Exactly. The problem, like, that's the eternal struggle, the balance between achievement and being grateful and accomplished about the things you have done, right?
Grateful, accomplished, and standing behind your choices and decisions in every moment.
And enjoying it,
Hmm.
and enjoying it. But at the same time, if you like, so appreciation and achieving is this balance, right? If you fall too much in the appreciation, you kind of go into this mild state of just going through life without real progression. If you go too far into the thriving, achieving mode, you don't appreciate where you are achieving on the way. So that's the eternal pain that all these super high achievers feel because the moment they achieve something, it's like, so what's next? So what's next? So what's next? So I find it very, very difficult to find that balance. I would guess is person dependent, but for everybody, there is like a range in which it's healthy, in my opinion. So back to your question, I think some degree of FOMO is good, makes you move forward, makes you thrive, makes you wanting to achieve new things and improve yourself in a way. But too much can be pathological.
What does pathological mean?
Uh, uh, like a sickness can be harmful for you.
Okay.
Can be harmful.
I'm really familiar with it used in terms of pathological liar,
Yeah,
but
there you
I
go.
don't often hear it like just in and of itself.
I guess I use that word in English because in Spanish we use it more than you
Hmm.
guys.
Hmm.
So for me, it's more. It's a false friend, like you say, right? No, it's not a
Well,
false
it's not a
friend
false
because
friend because it means the same
no, it
thing.
means the same thing, but we use it more, I
Hmm.
guess.
Good. Okay, so you're saying that, I mean, you've just described that, in your opinion, having the right balance of FOMO is really important. But I'm still hearing you refer to it in terms of this, like, it seems kind of like a drive for success or money or opportunity, I guess, in terms of that Silicon Valley idea or the social media idea. But if you apply it once again to the day to day stuff, like my friends invited me out and I didn't want to go, but maybe I should have gone, or like everybody's gonna, I don't know, we're all getting the same, I don't know, gadget.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think, no, I'm gonna save my money and buy something else. Or, yeah. And then I see what, or here, this is a better example. When you're at a restaurant and you order what you want and then somebody else orders something else and then you spend the whole meal thinking I should have ordered that. Like, did I miss out on what you ordered? So it's not necessarily that same
Mm.
Silicon Valley idea, but like it's also FOMO, like not being able to enjoy what you have in the moment because you're too focused on fear of having made the wrong decision.
Yeah. I don't feel very familiar with that feeling. uh, I don't think it's useful, but I understand that many humans have those feelings.
So you don't think that version of it needs a
It's useful?
balance?
No, no, no.
Okay,
I never,
wait.
I never thought of that from that angle. But yeah, it's a good approach. But now that I think about it, no, I don't. I don't think that's useful.
Let me propose an idea.
All right.
What if it's somebody who always eats the same thing every single time they go to the restaurant? Because they don't have any like curiosity, they have no sense of FOMO. So they spend their whole lives only eating the bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Like maybe in that sense a bit of FOMO would be good because it's again like motivation or drive to kind of have curiosity or try something outside of the comfort zone that you live in.
I get that, but that's a different story because you are talking about before you make the decision. Before you make the decision. So before I make the decision, so should I order the burger again, like the previous 100 times, or should I order something else? You're still not missing out because you haven't made a decision,
Well,
right?
if the last time you ordered the same thing as you always ordered and
Hmm.
you looked at somebody else's food and you kind of felt like, oh, maybe I should have ordered that, then maybe the next time you order it because you felt FOMO last time.
Great. Then if that's the case, what I would do is like I would enjoy my burger and I go home and I say like next time I'm gonna order what he ordered. But I wouldn't have the feeling of having missed out on
You
that.
wouldn't experience FOMO in that
No.
situation.
I would just make the decision. So next time it's gonna be something else. You know what I mean?
But you wouldn't consider that, no, you enjoyed your burger, so you didn't feel any
Exactly.
FOMO.
Because the decision is made already. There's nothing you can do.
My question is, like, let's imagine a third person, not you, not me. We're having dinner. You and I, we order different things every time we're happy. But my friend Henry always orders the same thing every single time. Would you think like Henry needs some FOMO in his life?
He needs variety.
Yeah, I guess we don't really have to call that
I
FOMO.
would say that's a different beast.
Okay.
That's for another podcast, I think, you know?
Sometimes I go down my own rabbit holes. I get distracted by my own thoughts.
That's good. That's what podcasting is all about, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So FOMO, JOMO, fear of missing out.
Okay, so we've decided that FOMO, let's apply it back to this idea of the Silicon Valley version. Where would you say that JOMO applies in that situation? The joy of missing out.
I would say like that was just an example, but it's so applicable to any walk on like so many walks of life. So that's just the one that like the domain in which I first heard that term, but it's applicable to our everyday lives in general. But in terms of like investing or business or something like that, I would say JOMO, like the joy of missing out, would apply in like the real good investors uh, go full in JOMO because they reflect on things, they know what they have to do, they they do what they have to do, they make their decisions, and they don't look back.
Yeah.
Because FOMO is looking back. FOMO is being reactive to the environment. The good investors are not reactive and don't think they're missing opportunities because the good investors always think that there are infinite opportunities out there. So yeah, you missed that one. So what? It's a numbers game. Like I don't think like the big like the big guns of investing, the big guys feel FOMO. They don't.
No, 0%? Like, is it a balance in this situation?
No, no. In terms of yes, but what I mean is maybe a little bit. But what I mean is like they are not.
looking back.
They're not looking back, they're not stressed about it, they don't spend time on that, because the moment you look back, the moment you doubt yourself, the moment you think you should have done differently, the moment you second guess yourself, like the wind puts you like 3 steps back.
Yeah, or in general, it just makes you less happy.
On top of it, less happy and a worse investor. Like, I don't think Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, all those big shots, have FOMO, feel FOMO, or second guess themselves. I'm sure they have lots of misses, but they don't have that mindset.
I mean, I imagine that anybody who had the opportunity to like invest in something that quickly blew up, I'm sure that they would be like, shit, missed that.
Yeah,
But like that's like a second feeling of FOMO and then you just move on from it.
yeah.
Well, maybe that's not. I mean, again, FOMO, it's like the feeling that you feel in the moment.
I would define, that's the way I feel it, huh? More of like a state of mind, or a emotional state. FOMO, like these restless people that are constantly like wanting to be somewhere else. Those people are feeling FOMO. Like, oh man, like my friends having a party, the other people just went to Ibiza, and my other group of friends are at the gym. Like, I'm sure they're having a blast, and I'm here. I'm watching a movie with my girlfriend, but would rather be there. But if you're there, you'd rather be watching a movie with your girlfriend. It's just people that are just not present and never happy with their decisions.
Okay.
So to me, FOMO, I feel it. I don't know what it is, but I see it as a state of mind, a restless, yeah, a restless state,
Anxious,
anxious state of mind, of always feeling awkward, or feeling, and
disappointed.
yes, and unsatisfied about your own decisions, and wanting to be somewhere else because you're not fully happy with what you're doing, or even convinced that you're not sticking to your guns.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that you could use it as like an immediate thing, like, ugh, yeah, I have FOMO right now. Or you could use it as what you're saying, like a general state of mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I see
that
that,
makes sense. I think that the word is applied in both of those
yeah,
situations.
because if you think about it, like fear is a type of fear, and fearful individuals are usually constantly in fear to different degrees, different moments. But if someone is fearful, it's very likely fearful about a lot of things in his or her life, right? So if you feel FOMO, it's probably something that is present in your life, or manifests in your life in many different ways.
Okay, that brings up something I wanted to talk about. Like, we use FOMO in the sense of experiences. But let's use that person, somebody who like is a scaredy cat, constantly feeling the sense of having missed out or missing out. Do you think that it could be applied also to other realms, like a fear of missing out on purchases, on acquiring possessions, or on relationships, like number of friends, again on social media that could apply, or just yeah, number of people in your community, like do you also need to acquire things in the same way that we try to acquire experiences to avoid FOMO?
100%. 100%. I think probably the same people that feel FOMO about the things that we're talking about before,
Vacations and
vacations,
Lambos.
Lambos, experiences, like the weekend in Ibiza,
Hmm.
those people probably deep down, they're thinking like, man, like maybe I'm missing something. Like, and the worst fears are those who are not even manifested clearly. Maybe I chose the wrong person. And
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know, like maybe I chose the wrong person, or maybe
I would be happier.
I would be happy, like happier, like with a different mm, career, like a different job, or like yeah, I like it, like yeah, it's good, but did I miss something? Like, and yes, that's why I associate FOMO with this type of person or this profile, this personality profile, because those who have unspecified fears are more prone to feel FOMO, in my opinion. Because when it's very clear, because if it's clear, it's not FOMO anymore. Because I think intrinsically, FOMO, it's uncertain. You don't know where you're missing out. That's the idea of FOMO. Like, am I missing something? Like, it's like, is the other group better than mine? Or like, because we are like humans are, we are these comparison machines. We're constantly like gauging um, our status within the environment. Everything we've been talking about today is about status and where we stand
Yeah,
in the
and
totem pole.
power
Yeah, right. So maybe I chose the wrong partner. Maybe the other partner would
would have been
better
better.
for me and give better offspring. I don't know. Like this is how we think unconsciously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe somebody who has a strong sense of FOMO could be easily identified by having a house full of clutter because they tend to buy a lot of things thinking that if they don't buy it, they're missing out on what it has to offer their life. Or maybe those people also tend to have a resume of work experiences where they've changed jobs like so many times, or maybe they have like a series of ex boyfriends or ex girlfriends or not very satisfying relationships. Like those could be identifying characteristics of somebody who suffers from FOMO.
I would say they go hand in hand. I wouldn't say it's directly related, but I would say that it's very likely that there is correlation.
Correlation, not causation.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. But probably people who compulsively buy stuff, it's either a cultural thing, wanting to prove something, whatever it is, it's a habit also, or it's a way to fulfill some vacuum that who knows. That's also for another podcast, probably.
Yes. But I mean, I would say that FOMO is similar. I would say
Yeah,
that FOMO could be cultural,
yeah,
not only the culture of the country you're from, but the culture of your family, the
yeah,
culture of your sex.
yeah,
Like, if I'm female, my culture is to shop more, or that's based on a stereotype, but
yeah,
those are cultures that we've created that also lead into FOMO type behaviors.
yeah. I think so. I think so. So probably those people who do all those things, who behave in that way, are highly prone to also feel FOMO.
Yeah,
FOMO.
and in the reverse, somebody who doesn't have a strong sense of FOMO, who's good at joyfully accepting the decisions they've made, I would guess also likely or correlationally might not fill their lives with physical objects like possessions,
Mm,
nor would they maybe undervalue the relationships that they've invested in or
yes, I would say so. No, I totally no, I would say so. I totally agree. I totally agree. But I was thinking and um about the idea of JOMO, and I was thinking like right before we were right before this that the idea of JOMO is actually a contradiction. I was thinking because if you actually don't have FOMO, like FOMO doesn't need an opposite.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
The whole idea of JOMO is invented by people who feel FOMO a need, like a somewhere to place their mind, like a pigeonhole place in which to go from FOMO. If you know what I mean? So it's a pure contradiction because joy of missing out. It makes no sense if you think about it. Because if you miss out, like I don't want to miss out. This is a very important idea also. Like I don't want to miss out. But just because I don't fear missing out doesn't mean that I enjoy missing out. I don't want to miss out. Like I rather be in the right place. I rather make the good decision. I'm not gonna fear being wrong. I'm not gonna fear missing out on the opportunity, but I'm not gonna enjoy missing out. That's to me. It sounds like a contradiction. I get the idea, obviously. Like it's
I say lever.
a lever to pull to get out of FOMO. I get it.
Well, that makes sense. But you could, I mean, we argued that it's very in our nature to have some sense of FOMO.
Yes.
So, in the moments when you might be drawn towards it, that's where it's really useful to apply the JOMO concept. And like you said, you want to be in the right place, you want to have invested in the right choices. But in the situation of where it's just a momentary thing, my friends are going to see a movie, I would rather stay home and like spend the night with my dog by myself. Like, I can imagine having twinges of maybe I really would have liked having a more social night or seeing that particular movie. And instead of allowing myself to go down that road, I replace it with, no, actually, I'm so happy to be here, like calm. It's kind of resetting your mind towards a more positive direction and trusting in the decision you made. So it's, I think, especially in those momentary
Mm.
things, not in terms of these investments that you missed out
Yeah.
on, but in terms of the momentary decision, it's useful to be able to redirect your attention into why you made the
Mm.
decision you did.
Okay, let me depict a picture for you. Let's say, like, taking from the example that you just gave, right? So, your friend calls you or sends a text, like, hey, we're going to whatever. We're throwing a party tonight in my place. It's going to be just a few people, but it'll be fun, whatever. And you say, let me think about it. No, I'd rather stay here, watch a movie with my dog, right? So the person who feels FOMO was like, man, while watching the movie, instead of petting his dog or her dog, while watching the movie, be like, shit, are they having fun? Maybe I missed out. Fuck. Should I just call them and maybe if I go there, maybe I can still like get the second half. That's FOMO.
The worst is nowadays you can like check on
That's even
Instagram and
worse.
get photos of like everyone jumping around with the music.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best party of my life.
So, hear me out. This is why I don't think the idea of JOMO makes sense. Because, so let's say that's the person who feels FOMO. The person who doesn't feel FOMO is just enjoying the movie. It's like, man, I saw Die Hard for 11th time. Great, and great. And you enjoy the night. You want it to be like calm and great, perfect. The next morning, your friend says like, man, yesterday, like this movie star came because was friends with whoever. We had so much fun. It was like the best night ever. If it was me, I would say like, fuck, I missed out.
Yeah.
But what I
Okay.
mean is that I would enjoy the movie, so I wouldn't feel FOMO during the night. But next day I said like, man, I missed it. But this normal, this is
So
healthy.
yours is FEMO. Fuck, I missed out.
But you know what I mean?
I don't have FOMO. Sometimes, damn it, I have FEMO.
But
But
listen,
otherwise, I just have joy.
but the JOMO idea, because to me, I was thinking about the JOMO idea. So the JOMO idea to me conveys conveys the principle of like, so next day I'm supposed to say like, I'm so glad I've missed the party. No, I'm not glad. I'm not going to enjoy that I missed that. Like, it's just life, statistics. This is a numbers game. Good, but that's why the JOMO idea I don't love.
Okay, I get
But
it.
that's it. It's only my opinion.
Well, I think that we can close this podcast on the FOMO JOMO FEMA conclusion. I thought it was a really good chat. Did you have anything else you wanted to touch upon?
No, it was super fun. Um, Thanks for asking me again to be here. It was super fun, and anytime. Maybe I'll be a continuous guest, hopefully.
Yeah, I think
Who
I have
knows?
some other topics that I might want to pick your brain.
I would love to be here.
Okay.
Anytime.
Well, thank you everybody for listening to this episode of Andrea Holm's podcast, and I plan to do more of these in the future.
In the
Let's just
future.
say in the future. So,
I do want to say something though.
okay.
I want to say this because you are not going to say it. So for everybody listening, go to andreahome.es. Andrea is the best English coach in the world, and she has like these incredible programs that can help you big time with your English. Boom, I said it.
Well, I do stand behind that. I think my English programs are pretty cool.
They are.
So do go there.
Andrea
Listen to Jesus.
andreahome.es.